It's time for today's face-off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quanell X and Big Angry Adams, ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Worth ISD substitute teacher now under investigation after allegedly making a social media post urging ICE agents to visit a district high school in Fort Worth because, in their words, the students don't speak English. Our Ashley Moss with more now on how community members and leaders are responding to this.
There is a trust between the educator and the students. And with this, very controversial and inappropriate tweet, that's broken that trust. So I understand why people are hurt and concerned about it.
You're looking at a screen grab of the social media post made on X, believed to be posted by a Fort Worth ISD substitute teacher who asked ICE officers to visit Northside High School in Fort Worth. The post was a comment to an Immigration and Custom Enforcement tweet. The comment reads, "Y'all should come to Fort Worth, Texas to Northside High School. I have many students that don't even speak English." The post quickly went viral.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
All right, Quanell, obviously the hot topic of the week in America is immigration and the immediate efforts by the Trump administration to deport people that are illegally in this country. It seems the focus initially is on those that have committed horrifying crimes in this country, who then were allowed to remain without ICE detainers or any effort to deport because of the Biden administration policies, sanctuary city policies, and progressive state governments. On the flip side, you have a number of people in more conservative states calling for the removal of everyone that's here illegally, saying, oh, just being here illegally is a crime, they should get rid of them all. I take a much more measured tone that both parties allowed people to come into this country for decades with, there are people that have been here since childhood or early adulthood who haven't committed any crimes, who we have to find a pathway to citizenship. But here we have this teacher being condemned by public officials in Fort Worth, and I don't think it was a full-time teacher, it was a part-time teacher. And you have to look at the intersection of free speech and employment, because this is public employment, right? This isn't a private company that can hire and fire people that piss them off for any reason other than an illegal reason in this at-will employment state that is Texas. This is a public employer whose actions are constrained by the free speech clause of the First Amendment. I think that the Supreme Court has said, hey, kids have a right to an education, whether they're here illegally or legally. We have to educate kids, and I think that is in the best interest of the United States. I think our American education system is doing rather poorly and failing a great number of kids. The city of New York, highest cost per kid, I think, in the world. Horrible results. But, we need to do better, and we don't do this country any good by not having children here in schools because they stay dumb, right? Kids have to be educated. And I'm not speaking just kids from foreign countries. I'm talking all kids. If they're not educated, they stay dumb, right? So I think it's a bad policy, but I also support the substitute teachers' right to voice their opinion on the free speech and show their frustration that they're not having these kids be in English as a second language classes, that instead they're apparently using their phones to translate the lessons. I can see how that would be incredibly frustrating for an educator.
Let me say this to you, Charles. It is an affront and a slap in the face to all good teachers in this country who make tremendous sacrifices to teach America's public school children. Teaching in a public school is not easy for many teachers, but we respect—
Why not?
Let me get to that point. We respect teachers who make the sacrifice to teach our children. And many teach children from low-income areas, sometimes single-parent households, and those teachers will spend their own resources when they run short on supplies for their students. But to call this wolf in sheep's clothing a teacher is a slap in the face to all good teachers.
They are teachers.
She ain't nothing but a dirty, low-down wolf. Or if it's a he's a dirty, low-down wolf. A teacher is supposed to be a trusted confidant to a student.
Why?
A teacher is supposed to be one that a student can rely on if they're in trouble, if they need assistance, if something bad is happening at home, happening at school, happening in community. You're always told you can confide in your teacher. That's a person of protection and security and trust for a student.
Who told anyone that?
Man, let me finish.
Well, who told anyone that? You're lying.
I let you talk.
I didn't lie.
Let me finish.
You're lying.
You white folks lie for a living.
Us white
now let me
folks,
tell you something.
I'm just one.
This teacher is dead wrong to now say in a post to the government, come to my school. I got many of them here who don't speak English and translate using their phone to translate. Come to my school and get them. You dirty low-down snake. Because what you're doing is asking the government to come and take and kidnap people's children from school, where when a parent sends their child to school, they believe that's a safe environment, a trusted environment, an environment where the child will be protected. But to tell them to come and get them behind their parents' backs, that's dirty and low down. And now let me go a little further. You notice they didn't identify this teacher by picture or by name, because they know there'll be consequences.
It was a social media post.
But still, let's see exactly who the teacher is by picture and by name.
I don't think they know.
They know. Hell yeah, they know. Let me tell you something. It's wrong, man. Because when I was in school, Charles, the most trusted people in my community were the teachers. You could confide in them about anything, man. And if there was a problem going on, they would tell us, talk to your counselor or speak to your teacher. If this is how teachers are going to operate, snitching on the children's immigration status and asking ICE agents to come to the school and totally disrupt the learning environment and arrest these kids and put them in detention in vans, how could a teacher ask the government to bring law enforcement to the school to arrest children who are only trying to get an education? They're not committing crimes. Many of them are only here because their parents brought them here. They have not committed a crime. And I thought the idea was to remove the criminals. These kids are not criminals in the classroom. So if we're only removing the criminals, why are we focused on them babies trying to learn to get an education in the classroom when it's already hard enough in the public school system of America for our children to get a good education? That's wrong, Charles.
Okay, initially, I would agree with you that it is wrong for ICE to be targeting kids in school. The policy shift from the Trump administration last week to allow ICE to enter schools, churches, and things that were continually, under the Biden administration and the Obama administration considered off limits for ICE officers. I think it's questionable at best. I would disagree with the thought of going into even high schools and arresting people over their immigration status, but I support a public employee's right to speak freely on social media. Free speech is important. But what I find the most shocking in this whole dishonest diatribe, which teachers aren't trusted confidants. Their obligation is
yes,
to protect.
They are.
Their obligation is to protect the student, and if there is something that is harming the student and the student's brought to them, they have an obligation. You have a legal obligation to report things like sexual molestations and other things. Even if a child's told you in confidence, you have a legal duty to report.
If the child made an outcry.
But here's the thing. What really I find shocking, the most shocking thing of all this is a man, you, who has built your whole life making a living on racism, right? On decrying racism. You literally just said to me, y'all white people lie for a living. Cornell, why is it okay?
I didn't lie. I told the truth.
Why is it okay?
So let's talk about that.
Let me ask my question.
Oh, what the hell with your question? Because you asked it of me. You asked it of me.
I didn't finish the question.
I'll tell you why.
I didn't finish the question.
I'll tell you why.
Why is it okay for someone that screams and cries about racism, which is horrible? Racism is horrible, right? But for you to be casually racist constantly, Quanell, right? Like, I think clearly this teacher's racist. I think this teacher is a public employee.
But
has
you
a
wouldn't
right to
dare
be racist.
say that
Why?
if I didn't call you out on what you said in the beginning. Because what you said in the beginning, you was very confident of that teacher. You were very supporting of that teacher.
No, I
but when I
wasn't.
call you out the facts,
Wait,
now
yeah,
you want to spin on it a little
I
bit
wasn't at
because
all.
I'm putting your foot to the flame.
I wasn't at all. In fact,
And
y'all can
now,
hit
let me
rewind.
tell you why you lied.
The only thing I support is their right to free
Let
speech.
me tell you why you lied.
Okay, no,
because
you didn't say me. It's okay to call me a liar.
No.
You called white
Let me
people
tell you why
generally
you white
liar
folks lie.
because you're a racist.
Let me tell you why you
Quanell.
white folks lie.
Okay, there
Since
you
we're
go.
talking about school and education in school during Independence Day, you give the kids a holiday because it's America's independence. And July 4th is that celebration. We get those days off. But guess what?
Well,
we don't tell black students that the first person to die in the Independence War was a black man named Crispus Attucks for America's independence. And yet after the war, we fought, bled, and died for her independence. She kept us in slavery. You don't tell the truth about that. You tell people right here in Texas, our students, that look, Texas is a great state, and remember the Alamo, but you don't tell us Davy Crockett and Jim Boyd both were slave owners. Oh, I could call the roll, partner, about how you lie.
You have done a great job of explaining your racism, right?
Oh, I can tell you
your
the facts.
justification. But no, what you're
Did
saying.
you tell us that Abraham Lincoln, white folks told us Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. But Abraham Lincoln also said that he wished that all blacks, Negroes could go back to Africa so we could be rid of their painful presence among us. Then he went on to say that no black was to ever sit on the jury. He didn't approve of racial and interracial marriage. He went on to say that no black should hold elected office and elected position. He wanted all of us to go back to Africa. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, but he hated black folks at the same time.
Okay, so
I can call the robot how you lie in school.
Let me just make sure.
You want some more? I can
yeah,
give you some more.
You're not going to let me talk because you don't want to hear it, right? So your math is that because I share a complexion with other white people that have done some bad things, that I, as a white person, and other white people are all liars and responsible. So
that's not my math.
That's exactly what you just said.
That's the lie you want to tell.
No, it's not. You just said y'all white folks lied. Y'all white folks did this.
My math is white people who support that.
Okay.
White people who back those
Okay.
lies, who
Okay.
promote those lies.
Okay.
White people who don't want the truth taught in schools to their
Okay.
own children. I'm talking about them. But there's some very good white people
the
who don't
good
believe in
whites.
that.
The good
There's
whites.
some very good white people who believe in freedom, justice, and equality for all America's
Okay.
children. There's some very good white people who will condemn that teacher for saying, come to the classroom and arrest my students. There's some very good white people who want to see America be the America of her values, her principles, and her founding fathers' words. But to this day, we're not that.
Okay, so to be clear, there are mostly bad whites, but there are a few good whites, right?
I didn't say that.
That's your math.
But that's the truth that you must obviously know.
Oh, I must know that truth. So, as a black man, right, do you feel a level of responsibility for black men that commit crimes?
Yes.
Okay, and when a white guy refers to black people holistically in a racist manner, can you say, well, I'd complain about that, but the truth is that of the murderers in this country, the majority of them are the minority of black men, and black men commit murder at a higher blah, blah, blah. So you think that makes racism okay?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, so
But I will say this.
So white people,
The reason why I
it's
feel
okay
a
to be
level of
racist to white
responsibility for those
people.
brothers committing those crimes.
Not okay to be racist
I'm
to
gonna
black
tell you
people.
why I feel a level of responsibility for those black brothers committing crimes like that.
Okay.
Because I see myself as one of many in leadership. And until we as black men and women in leadership begin to hold our own people accountable and one another accountable for what is happening in our communities, well then we are complicit by silence. Secondly, let me tell you something else I also believe, sir. I believe that until we as a nation go back to godly morals and godly standards and godly principles, both black and white, we're doomed in this country.
Okay.
And the number one enemy of white people in this country is also the same number one enemy of black people, ignorance. And ignorance is being promoted, it's being supported, it's being rewarded in our society, in our communities, and that has to end for all people in this country.
Okay, so to be clear, you're not against racism anymore. You
I'm
support
against racism.
Because me,
I'm against white supremacy.
Again,
I'm against bigotry. I'm against hate.
oh, so when you said all y'all white people lie, that wasn't
White
you being
people
a
that think
bigot?
like you.
Oh, so
White people that think like
so
you.
white people that think
It's okay for that teacher to say and do what that teacher
that's
did.
Not what I said.
And you supported that
You're-
teacher.
No,
you
you're
backed that
the liar.
teacher up.
What I said
I called you
was
out on it.
because I believe in free speech, and that's the key difference. I can disagree with
You
what
believe
this
in
teacher
free
just said.
speech that doesn't
Okay,
indict
hold on,
your
hold
side
on.
of the
How do you
fence.
know? No, absolutely
You like
not.
free speech when it's
I
supports
think a
your
public
philosophy or your
employee-
narrative.
That's not true.
But you don't like free speech
You
when
know,
it indicts what you
I
believe.
always know you're upset and full of crap when you won't shut up.
Oh, you should stop talking like
I was against
that,
what the
sir.
teacher said
Oh, no,
and
you
for
wouldn't.
their right to say
Oh, no.
it. And that is free speech.
If
Y'all
you
can hit
support their
rewind.
right to say it, I got you.
I'm sorry.
Show the picture.
All us whiteys, we lie all
Give
the time.
us the picture of that teacher
Yeah.
and her name also, or his name. We should know.
The rumor mill about their marriage. First, on January 15th, in the Substack of Jessica Reed Krause, also known as House and Habit, she posts the following. Michelle Obama's absence at Jimmy Carter's funeral certainly raised some eyebrows, but yesterday's announcement that she won't be attending Trump's inauguration confirms something is definitely going on between her and Barack. Whispers about cracks in their relationship have been circulating in D.C. for over a year now, but this feels like the first public proof of a marriage on the rocks. If I had to guess, they will wait until after the inauguration to announce it. Timing, you know, is everything. And yet the story doesn't end there. For months, I've heard Jennifer Aniston's name tied to Barack. Then Jessica cites a DM she received the day before. Quote, "He's with Jennifer Aniston. My old manager, now a friend, is connected to her inner circle. At a gathering with Jennifer's friends, the affair came up casually. Jennifer herself admitted it. They were sitting with a psychic, which makes it sound surreal, but it's definitely not a secret among her closest friends."
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Charles, just last week on this show, I brought this subject up in our debate about why the former First Lady Michelle Obama was not attending two historical events that no First Lady has ever missed so close together like that: the death of a president and an inauguration of an incoming president. And I said to you that the rumor mill coming out of Hollywood was that he was having an affair. Former President Barack Obama might have been involved romantically with this Caucasian female actress, Jennifer Aniston is the name, I believe it is. Now it's being alleged that at a party, she was with a psychic and were close friends, and she admitted that she's the side piece to Michelle Obama. She admitted that she is the woman involved with a married man, the former president. And so I would like to encourage Sister Michelle that if this is true, you make sure you find Miss Aniston wherever you can and show her what the south side of Chicago looked like in a black woman. See, it's time out for these home-wrecking sluts, these home-wrecking hoes, to get away with breaking up happy homes. This was America's first black family right now, the Obamas. And now we got an ironing board backside, Miss flat in the back like an ironing board, Miss 6 o'clock, straight up, straight down, no frills, no thrills. Subject to have the itch, mutanoid, caucasoid, robbing homebreaker. Then took that brother from that sister. Look, let me tell you something, Miss Ashton. Black women don't play that. You better find somewhere to hide, somewhere to run, because if she find you, I'm telling you, south side of Chicago gonna come out. And you think it's cool, look at you.
No,
you think it's all right, home-wrecking little hussy?
I'm sorry. I'm glad the camera wasn't on me because you called Rachel from Friends a mutanoid caucasoid?
Subject to have the itch.
A mutanoid caucasoid subject to have the itch. Firstly, as I said last week, I still to this day don't believe any of this. I do not think Barack Obama is running around. I do not think Michelle Obama, people forget that Donald Trump and his wife did not attend Biden's inauguration. I think that she has had a tremendous number of ugly, evil things said about her by many, an outsized number of Trump supporters, talking about how she's trans and all this other stuff. I think it's horrible. I don't think she wanted to be there. There is some, apparently Jennifer Aniston shut off comments on her Instagram and other social media accounts to prevent people from attacking her. But I do think this is all just gossip and rumor mongering, and it gets a lot of attention. We're talking about it here.
But what if it's true?
I think it, well, if it's true, I think Ross and Joey are probably very upset because, you know, Barry Obama probably going in a lot better and a lot deeper than they did.
And that's the best you can say as a married man yourself.
What now?
As a married man yourself, that's the best you could say.
What?
About Obama probably going in a little bit
I was making a joke, a friend's joke. Her name isn't
Yeah,
Rachel.
but guess what, though?
Ross and Joey didn't really date
your
her.
wife
They were
wouldn't like that
characters on a
joke.
TV show.
And I bet you married women in America wouldn't like that joke.
You know what?
Because married women are tired of these sideline hussies.
How many times?
These side piece hussies. Stealing and robbing and breaking up happy homes.
Hold on. How many times you been married?
God damn, you be snitching.
How many times you married now?
3 times.
Okay, you've been married 3 times.
God,
I've been married 1 time. Only 31 years in April. That ain't no big. Why you were the one talking about my wife, bringing my marriage into
Let
this?
me say this to
First off, Jennifer
my
Aniston ain't 6 o'clock.
Jennifer
Aniston has some lovely junk in her trunk.
To my ex-wives.
She is a beautiful woman.
If I made a mistake, please excuse my indiscretions.
Okay.
I'm a work in progress.
So what's good for Barry is not. I'm sorry. What's good for Quanell ain't good for Barry Obama.
I'm speaking on behalf of Sister Michelle.
Okay.
If she catch this woman, if it's true, if she catch her,
but it's
Miss
not
Ashton,
true.
Get you some bodyguards. Miss Ashton, stay out of the hood. Don't go nowhere close to no black events, no black venues. Don't let Barack trick you into going to the BET Awards. Because I'm going to tell you something, it ain't going to look good for you.
What if Barack was unhappy? What if Michelle was mean to him? What would it take for it to be okay? What if they were like the Clintons? You know the Clintons, that's just a business arrangement, right?
Now,
that ain't no real marriage.
I can relate.
What if that was going on?
I can relate to a man being married and the wife being mean and the wife mistreating you and the wife taking you for granted.
I'm sure that's what happened at Quanell. But
the woman
Jennifer Aniston is beautiful.
The woman making you schedule appointment for some loving and you gotta get on the clock for some boom thing. I mean, I can relate to a man just being so mistreated.
Hey Barack, if you're gonna run around Jennifer Aniston,
don't go to no black events.
That's it for the Face Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.